Okay, so we are talking about circles. And when you think of circles, you got to make sure that you're like, how am I going to think about this? So we are going to start by talking about make sure you guys start taking your notes here. Dude, I'm already writing notes. All right, so we got circles here. Ooh. Okay, so a circumference, and if you guys want to abbreviate on your notes, you guys are more than welcome to.
Does that say circle but in person?
Yes. So the circumference of a circle is the outside of the circle. All right, so when you're talking about the outside of the circle, it would be like if you guys were to walk around a pool. Or a fence that's surrounding the pool. And you guys, like I said, you guys can abbreviate as much as you want. All right, so if this is my pool around here, the circumference is simply if you were walking around the outside of your pool. All right, it's not covering the pool, it's just simply walking around the pool. And that's pretty much what you're looking for like a distance. Now, for you guys to figure out the circumference, the distance around the pool, there are two ways that you guys can figure it out. So if this is my pool, you guys can figure it out by going across the pool. So if you were to find the distance between here and here, that's known as the diameter. All right. All right, and that's the distance if you were to, like, if you were standing in the middle of the pool and you were to put both your arms up and you guys were to able to touch each side of the pool. You guys following this far? You guys could also look at it if you guys had one arm up, which is known as the radius. And if you guys want to put that as like a D and an R, you guys are welcome to do that. So these are the two ways that you guys can determine the circumference. All right, so the circumference equals pi d. And in 7th grade, pi will always be referred to as 3.14. Now there is a pi button that's on your calculator, but do not use that. All right, strictly use 3.14. Now when you guys get into 8th grade and beyond, you guys will start being able to use the key button or the pi button. But just know, once again, do not use that pi button in 7th grade. This right here. When your math teachers tell you to, that's the symbol for pi. So it's 3.14. Now, out of anything that I've ever taught you, the most important thing is on March 14th, right? 3/14 is National Pi Day. I can't even make this up. Yep. So Google whatever it is that you guys want to do, but on March 14th, 3/14, National Pi Day, right? You guys can find places that are either A, giving away free pizza, or they're selling pizza for $3.14. All right. Like Domino's, Little Caesars, those places, look for it.
March 14th.
Yep, March 14th. And I will constantly remind you guys. All right. So for you guys to figure out the circumference, if you guys know the diameter, the whole way across, you guys could do pi times the diameter. Now, if you guys want to know if you're only given the radius, which is half the diameter, right? The circumference would equal 2 pi r. And it's really not as hard as you guys may like that it sounds right now. We're going to be practicing quite a bit of it. So this is my example finding the circumference of something. Walking around the outside of a pool, walking around a fence surrounding the pool. So something like this, you guys would be able to figure out the circumference, right? Now, if we're talking about finding the area of the pool or an area of something, right? Your formula is going to be pi r squared. And when you square something, it's just the number times itself. There's also a square button on your calculator that you guys are able to use as well. And tomorrow we'll focus on like working on the area of it, but today we're going to focus on the circumference of it. The difference between the circumference and the area is covering something, right? So the example that I use is how much frosting do you need to cover a cupcake? Or a cake. So if you think about this, right, it wouldn't make sense that if you guys had a cupcake, I don't know how to make it. All right, that's your cupcake. It wouldn't make sense to just put topping around the outside of the cupcake, would it? You'd want the whole top of the cupcake to be filled, right? So if you think about the area of it, you are thinking about, hey, how much is going to completely cover my cupcake? So circumference, you're walking around something. Area, you're covering something. So with the stuff that we're going to be going into, you're not going to be, you aren't going to necessarily be asked in a word problem, what is the area of this? You're going to have to, a lot of it, you guys will be given a scenario. And inside your head, you're going to have to say, hey, am I looking at the circumference of something, or am I looking at the area of something? So look over here at your formula sheet. All right. And we're going to slowly start working into this formula sheet, but you guys need to know this stuff inside and out. All right, so the perimeter is going to be like your rectangles. It's going to be your squares, and that's simply adding all your sides together. So if you have a square, you add all the sides together. A rectangle, you add all the sides together. All right. Circle, you need to make sure that you're familiar with your circle. All right. Here it tells you that, hey, the circumference is pi d, or 2 pi r. Remember, the d is for diameter and the r is for radius. And the radius is always 1/2 of the diameter. So if you guys need to add a little extra notes on here, you guys are welcome to. The pi, once again, is 3.14. Now, next week when we go into surface area and volume, you guys are going to have to know, like, everything is given to you guys here. All right, and we'll work a little bit more on all of this, but just know that you guys are going to have to, for you to be successful, you guys are going to have to know all of this stuff. All right, you guys good this far? Now let's go ahead and put it all together.